race fans, welcome to In the Driver's Seat, and today I'm joined by Harrison Burton. Thank you for coming on our new mini-series here.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about your career beginnings. Tell me when it started for you.
Yeah, I started super young. I started younger than most guys, probably. I was, 5 years old when I ran my first race. I was racing quarter midgets. I begged my parents for, my whole life to drive race cars, right? And so I guess I was annoying enough for long enough. My dad finally let me drive and started racing around in a racetrack called NCQMA in Salisbury, North Carolina, and just kind of went from there.
Awesome. So when did you start kind of traveling around, kind of branching out to different things?
Yeah, I spent most of my childhood just at the one racetrack, and then there was a new series that came out. It was the USAC .25 series, right? So it was all over the country, like it was a full traveling race, and so I begged my parents to do that because I wanted to just race in the hardest series there was, and I had a buddy named Mark Miller, and his dad Curtis Miller helped kind of put it all together. It was kind of me, my mom, Mark, his dad Curtis, and then Ryan Stanley and Ben Harrison were this kind of group that we had together, and we drove around and went racetrack to racetrack all over the country, and that was like the most serious racing I had done at the time. And when I turned 11, I started racing late models, and that was mostly back in the Southeast, and kind of went from there up the NASCAR ranks, right, where you're traveling more and more and more. But I would say, like, I did my most traveling when I was a kid racing quarter midgets, which is kind of crazy.
Did you ever have a favorite track, or did you just enjoy everything?
I loved it all. I think when I was really young, my favorite track was probably NCQMA. Like, when you were a kid, it was like home turf, right? Like, you had to defend your home turf. If there's like a national event at your racetrack, you wanted to win. And there was like cliques of drivers, little friends that, you would go and have your friends from North Carolina, and they were like your buddies, right? So there's a few guys that still race that I race quarter midgets with, and so it was super fun to like defend the home turf when a big event came to town.
For sure. So tell me about those big people in your life that really shaped your career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the easy answer is my dad, right? Where I watched him racing and I wanted to be like him. But I would say he was so busy with his career that he couldn't really help me as much as my mom could, right? So my mom kind of sacrificed a lot of her time, and we would go, all over the country together. And we had this little kind of tiny little motorhome, and me and my mom would go place to place, and that was it, right? And so for a while it was just me and her, and then like I said earlier, we had some help with Mark Miller's dad, Curtis Miller, who's still just one of the best guys I've known. Ben Harrison was a guy that helped me when I was really young a ton. Ryan Stanley, who at the time they were making Robbie Stanley Racing quarter midget chassis, so we were like the house car, so we were really cool. But those guys really shaped my career as a little kid, and knowing how to do things the right way. And then when I got to late models, they kind of followed me up, right? So I had that same little quarter midget group for a long time. And actually, Larry McReynolds' son, Brandon McReynolds, helped build my first late model. It was me, my dad, and Brandon McReynolds. So just a cool group from like age 5 till I would say 15 or 16 that I spent every weekend with and got really close with those guys.
Was there ever a moment that just stood out to you, like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life?
It's hard. I mean, racing's so up and down, and when I was really young, I won a lot. Like, I won all the time, and I thought that was normal. I was like, okay, cool. You win every race you go to, and it's easy. And then I started racing super late models in kind of the Southeast against guys like Bubba Pollard and just really good race car drivers that could race at any level, really. And I got my butt kicked for like a good year of like I didn't win a race in supers and kind of had to learn a lot and crashed race cars, made mistakes. And then when I won my first super late model race, I was like, okay, like I think I can do it. And that was really cool for me because at the time, that was the highest level of racing there was in my mind, right? When you're going to the snowball derby or things like that. I mean, there was nothing that felt bigger than that. So that was really, really cool to win my first super late model race is at New Smyrna. And from then on, I think I kind of started taking it really seriously and felt like I could do it for a living.
That's great. New Smyrna is my home track,
There
so
you
I
go.
love
There
to
you
hear
go.
that.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
So I ran pro late models for a long time and won those. I think I didn't win my first super late model race until I was 14 or so. I won my first limited late model race. I was 11. So I won really young in late models, but it was not the same level of competition as racing in like the Southern Super Series at the time or the World Series of Asphalt at New Smyrna. And so that to me was like, okay, I got it now. So that was really cool.
How did you push through those hard times? Because, I mean, I know as adults we kind of learn how to
Yeah.
push through it, but as a kid that can be really challenging.
As a kid, it's hard, right? When you're really young and all you know is that you get in a race car and win, and then you have like oh man, this is tough. I think I had that at every level of racing I've been in, right? Where it's hard at first, and then you figure it out, and you get a part of it, and you learn the series and your team, and then things start going better, right? And so for me, I think my dad really instilled in me that work ethic of like sticking to it. Watched him do the same thing when he was at the end of his career. Things weren't going great, right? He wasn't winning a lot. He was upset with how he was running. But I watched him kind of do the same stuff he would always do, whether he was winning or had a bad race. He always went to the shop the same way, always had a good attitude, always worked hard. And so he didn't really teach me that, but I just watched him do it and learned from that.
That's great. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what you want to hear next from Harrison on our next episode.